This is the plaintiff, Robert Douglas. He says he did some contracting work for the plaintiffs, and they're stiffing him on some of his pay. That's right. He did excellent work for them. They gave him a 5-star review on Home Advisor, and he's here in the name of justice seeking what's rightfully his, the $2,200 he's owed. These are the defendants, Culhane and Bethany Doyle. Culhane says the plaintiff botched one of the jobs, and the grout in their master bathroom has become discolored. The plaintiff refuses to repair it, and they're withholding a portion of his payment until he does. But since he sued, they doubt he ever will. They're accused of not paying up. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $1,650. The cost to redo the bathroom.
All parties, please use your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff did contracting work for the defendants, says they stiffed him, but the defendants say the plaintiff was a crappy carpenter and wrecked their master bathroom. It's the case of master of nothing.
Thank you, Douglas. Robert Douglas, you are suing Culhane Doyle and Bethany Doyle for $2,200 that you say you are owed on some construction work that you did for them. You have a counterclaim against him for $1,650 that you say you had to pay to repair a job that he had done months earlier, right? All right, so the first time you're hired to do what?
2 bathrooms and a closet in their master bedroom.
That was what month and what year?
April of 2016.
What was the amount of the first job, the 2 bathrooms? Was it a complete renovation?
One was not existing, so we turned 1 bathroom into 2 bathrooms. So
okay.
It was extensive work. It was $28,000.
Okay, and then the second job was to do what?
To do build a mudroom and then an addition off the dining room.
Okay, and that was a job worth how much?
$18,000.
All right, and now you do that job, and then in the midst of that job, they hire you to put in a staircase, right?
It was a deck in front of the mudroom and then a set of stairs off of it.
A set of stairs off, not a whole case. All right, and at some point during that, they tell you, hey, attend to the grout. The grout is discolored.
He had brought it up that the grout in his master bathroom shower, the shower basin, it discolored.
What did you say to him when he said that?
So I said, call the manufacturer. If that doesn't work, then we'll get some acetone and we'll try to get the regular color back. So acetone is an acid. It kind of eats away the any film that's on the top of the grout.
So did you do that?
Yeah, so I did that.
And did that fix it?
No, not really. It kind of fixed it for a little bit, and then I went back and sealed it. It was like 2 days later, and
it was discolored again by then.
Yeah, by the time I started the job in the summer.
So what about just taking it all out and starting it over again? That's too pricey?
So I went back. That was only the first time. I had gone back probably 3 times and to try to fix it. I went over it.
What did you do the second time?
Second time we went over it because it was enough room in between the tile to put new grout on.
Can't you get room in between the tile by taking a knife and just cutting out the grout?
Oh yeah. There's a grinder. I use it's called a fine saw,
yeah.
And it has a diamond bit on it. And yeah, that's what we did actually the third time.
And that doesn't work.
No.
The discoloration comes up again.
Yes.
All right. And do you have pictures?
No, I don't.
Okay. So talk to me. Who wants to talk first?
I'll talk.
Okay. Go ahead.
Just from the beginning or in response?
Well, no. Take it from there's a problem.
So the first time we alerted him to that was in August of last year. So all of this is in the text, which I printed.
Okay. Can I see the printed out the text? Let me.
With the bullet mark next to it. So that was, I believe, late August or September 16th was the first time we notified him.
All right, so in any event, do you have pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So according to you, the grout got discolored, but how soon did it get discolored?
There were actually kind of 3 different issues. The first one, the main discoloration that we were focusing on the most was actually on the floor, where mostly in one particular spot, but other little spots too, the grout was turning black in these different spots.
What color grout did you pick?
It was a light gray.
And is this what you mean by black?
That was one area in the girls' bathroom.
No, so the black section that I was talking about was a circle on the floor, and I think one of the pictures will show a lighter version of it, but basically the black was the underlying mortar beneath the tile there just wasn't enough grout to cover up the black mortar that was beneath the tile. So it was the underlying mortar was showing through the grout because a combination of, it appeared that the underlying mortar wasn't smooth enough, so spikes of it were coming up through the grout because they were small tiles, but also there just didn't seem to be enough grout.
Where do you get that whole conclusion that you just said came from where?
From his carpenter told me that verbally, that one of his workers named Danny hadn't sanded or smoothed the underlying mortar enough.
Do you have any evidence of that?
I do not.
Okay. This is a light gray tile, and it's darkening in color, and it's not darkening uniformly.
Correct. That's an example where the wrong color grout was used during the repair.
On the corner there, it's a lighter gray.
All right, so now, according to you, you have withheld how much of the final payment on the contracting job?
There were two components. We were withholding, and withholding is strong because in my final email, which I can give you an example of, or text, I had simply suggested to him, it doesn't seem that you're capable of doing this. Should we just basically write it off? So we keep the final $1,500 to hire an outside contractor. We owed him $700 still for the deck. We said he was free to pick up the $700 at any point. And when I made that suggestion, his response is basically, this is ridiculous. There's no reason I should eat the cost. I'm going to sue you. And at that point, we basically consider
So
the
you've
relationship.
so the bottom line is that what you owe on the rest of the job is $2,200, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, you hired somebody to come in and redo the grout.
Correct.
Do you have pictures of that job?
Not
Afterward,
post.
no, but we have the voided check and his detailed job.
But did the same thing happen after that guy left?
No.
So if the grout turns from gray to black, something wrong that the contractor did? What do you say?
Well, it depends.
Well, somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose here. If it turns like that, is it the contractor's fault or is it tough luck?
Not necessarily.
Okay, what do you say?
Probably the contractors.
Who's going to take a stand here? I need somebody to take a quick stand.
I believe it's the contractor's fault because when you lay grout and it changes colors, that's something you should explain prior that when you pick this certain
Or they just screwed it up. Or they just screwed it up. Going inside the courtroom.
What did he do differently?
He scraped out all of the grout in both bathrooms and regrouted it. Regrouted them both. It took him 3 days.
And on the floor, he used, I think, something called a color seal, which almost dyes and seals the tile and grout at the same time. And he also had to scrape out and replace the corner grout with silicone, because apparently you're not supposed to use grout in corners. Because of the nature of being a corner, it will always crack. So you're supposed to use silicone instead.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, as far as the corners,
Yeah.
using silicone, yes.
Did you use silicone?
No, not at the beginning, but I did at the, when I did to fix it.
Okay. So let me see the receipt from the new person.
And the voided check's on the back.
I see you paid the new guy $1,650. So I'm looking at the pictures and there's discoloration. You had 3 shots at it and they weren't happy, and then they hired somebody and then they were happy. That person took 3 days, and took their time and took all the grout out, and now supposedly it's uniform. You know, when somebody is paying $28,000 for a job, they're going to expect that the grout be uniform. If someone's paying $800 for a job, they're going to expect that the grout be uniform. So why isn't it right for me to, they gave you 3 stabs at it, and then they hired somebody for the $1,650. So why isn't it right for me to deduct that from the $2,200?
Because they were completely happy. So what happens in 3 months if the grout discolors from the sky?
Yeah, but discoloration shouldn't happen. It should be uniform, right?
I-
That's the
I-
goal, and that's and what brand was the grout?
I don't know.
One of the
offhand.
major. There's only X number of brands,
It's a
and
Luke-
half of them are owned by the same company. and-
Lucrete.
Yeah.
Lucrete was the brand.
Yeah. I'm going to deduct from the $2,200 the $1,650 that it cost them to make it right, and I'm going to find you liable to the plaintiff and a net judgment in the amount of the $550 plus your court costs. That's my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Well, the plaintiff is going to get a portion of his money back, something like $550. What do you think about that? You okay with that?
I feel pretty good. We always had said to him that we were ready to pay out that residual amount, that it was just the cost of repair that we were looking for.
Okay. I mean, the pictures were pretty convincing.
I think so.
No question about it, yeah.
And we asked him multiple times, so we gave him several chances to try to fix his mistake.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very
You
much.
must sign a few documents. Mr. Douglas is on his way out of the courtroom. Yeah, you know, admittedly, the pictures did not look that great.
Yeah,
The
no,
tile did not look good.
I don't know. I mean, I've done hundreds of bathrooms. I don't know why the grout discolored.
I mean, even the job didn't look so good to somebody like me, and I'm not a pro at all, you know.
I mean, they were happy at the beginning when it was
Really?
finished. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry you had to go to court, but anyway, you know, you're only getting a portion back. You okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good enough. Congratulations. Thank you. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, again, hire a licensed contractor. I mean, they're bonded. You can check to see if they've screwed up before and there are complaints. It is just a better way to go.